Good afternoon. My name is Giovanni Santos. I'll be doing my presentation on cloud computing and going over that slideshow for you today. Just to begin, what is cloud computing? What problems does it solve? Advantages and disadvantages of cloud computing, capacity planning, scalability, and total cost ownership of cloud computing, and essentially who's benefiting from this quote unquote thing called cloud computing. Um, and one of the definitions that I found, it states, quote unquote, cloud computing is computing on the internet, which is a very broad way to describe this. Um, Another way to describe it would be a product line for some of the largest corporations in the US who have vested interest in ensuring that cloud computing becomes primary corporate computing model for the 21st century. So they are looking to push this kind of agenda and quote unquote in terms of what cloud computing is, how much it's growing. One of the numbers that I found was cloud computing is expected to grow from 371.4 billion from 2024 or 2020, I apologize, to 832.1 billion by 2025. So it seems like it's almost a 400 billion dollar increase. Another concept I want to talk about is the different capabilities of cloud computing and some of the differences between. So you have application servers, storage servers, infrastructure, and management services which all kind of work hand in hand within cloud computing. What do these four capabilities do? How do they improve companies? What scale is the impact with cloud computing and the difference between using it and not using it? So, some of the advantages that I found essentially were cost saving, scalability, um, disaster recovery, and security. It reduces the need for purchases of applications along with telecommunication staff required, reduces software maintenance, upgrades, and support. Inexpensive scalability enables quote unquote on-demand computing, it's charged for capacity use like compared to the difference. And it also reduces the initial cost of purchasing software apps. Will cloud computing even continue to grow? So that's one big thing that I talked about earlier is the fact that cloud computing is going to grow from 371 billion in 2020 to 833 billion by 2025, which is mostly used and utilized by these large corporations. This is just kind of a chart I wanted to provide to give you a visual of the increase from 2020 to 2020 or to 2030, and just kind of how it looks on the charts and how much it's growing. The benefits of cloud computing, as stated earlier, expected growth, disaster recovery, scalability, security. But on the counterpart, it's also important to talk about the disadvantages of cloud computing. Some of the companies or some individuals face downtime, security risk, ongoing cost, and limited control. So they essentially reduce control by firm over functionally taking over the software, um, over functionality of software. I apologize. Introduces dependency on external firm, security risks. It is a security risk for proprietary corporate info, so sensitive information, introduces new recurring expenses beyond the control of the customer. So, as seen by some companies such as Amazon or other individuals, you need a increase in in infrastructure, and the cost of the infrastructure is mostly revolving around AC for the most part, and others have been reported to spend a lot on computer power consumption, which is the leading cost in operating the cloud data center for some of these companies, and that can bring a lot of financial, responsibilities, which some people don't kind of acknowledge. The positive contributions, the negative contributions, so like examples of both So for this one, I provided an example of Amazon Web Service, Amazon S3, and the Google Cloud. So one way that the Amazon S3, it's a simple storage service. Essentially, it's a loud cloud service, which is highly sociable, reliable, fast, and it is also inexpensive. The Google Cloud one is one that I personally use and really I'm actually utilizing it right now to do this presentation. I apologize for that. And then Dropbox and Target, some negative contributions that cloud computing has had on them. Target had a huge breach within personal information, and it was kind of has been like negatively impacting them ever since. And so for them to not utilize the more modern time, like cloud computing and management information systems that they're provided, it's also been a negative impact on them. Concept of capacity planning. So capacity planning, scalability, total cost efficiency. What does that look like? So, so I'll talk about capacity planning first and provide examples of it. So, like Amazon will predict and it predicts and provisions necessary resources to meet the demand without over or under provisioning. One way that the subscribers will work with capacity planning, or they'll work with them with capacity planning, would be estimate and manage their own resources based on expected workloads. Um, for the next one, of scalability, it offers flexible resources that can expand or contract based on demand, and the way that the subscriber is, so they utilize scale usage up or down depending on business needs, optimizing efficiency and cost. And then for total cost ownership, such as Amazon, uh, man- managers manages cost of infrastructures, balancing cost and efficiency. And some of the businesses that can benefit from cloud computing that I saw here, that I wanted to kind of touch on, most importantly, just because they impact me in my day-to-day life, for two out of three of them, nonprofits, education, and production. And how are these contributions to these fields positive, or why do they even matter essentially in the field of study? So it's going to benefit teachers, administration, students. They'll be able to use just kind of one 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 device and like to get access for all their students. Everyone will be able to communicate on there. It's easier access just for everyone. Um, and for it was for production. It's going to allow them to have data constantly available, and that's also going to be able to boost customer service and quality of service. And individuals will be able to see kind of like real lifetime of what cars are available, what cars aren't, or if they need a specific part. And for nonprofits, I found it to be higher in efficiency for their sales just because they're dealing with a limited budget. So there's certain things that they're able to save on, or save a couple extra bucks that will benefit them. Another one I wanted to touch on was ESPN's innovation around cloud computing, and how they used to be single wire to transport point A to B. Now it's set along ESPN network, as a lot of people utilize nowadays. They went from, well, they're 4K and 8K capable, but not every streaming device or like company is going to be able to offer that to the people that they like, their consumers and customers. Essentially, some of the individuals who work for ESPN said that their new studio with different toys and kind of different ways to collaborate with their customers and the people that watch them every day has been also very beneficial, not only in terms of growing jobs because they have so many different things, so their setups, and they've been able to expand kind of what ESPN is. And then for the next one, I have some of my references and just some of the studies that I used overall. That's going to be it for today. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day and a blessed weekend.